Hey there, it's me, Zach the Russian. Welcome back to my channel. For those for the first time here, my name is Zach. I'm 22 years old Russian who left Russia because of the war against Ukraine. And today I will tell you why wearing this shirt make me a criminal in Russia and why Russia decided to ban all exchange programs to the United States. I myself was a participant of one of the exchange programs to the United States called Year of Exchange in America for Russians. I went to St. Paul, Minnesota for about half a year from August 2021 until December 2021, and I stayed with American host family and had a great American experience. Everything was perfect. I boosted my English a lot. I had great memories associated with that period of my life, but unfortunately, right now, going to the United States as an exchange student is a crime. I will tell you why, but firstly, a little bit of history. Since the collapse of the USSR in 1991, more than 80,000 young and prominent Russians went to the United States as members of different exchange programs. A lot of those exchange programs are given such opportunities which wouldn't be just available who is coming from a regular Russian family, not from the oligarch family, to get an education equivalent of which is the best universities in Moscow. I myself was a participant of this exchange program Year of Exchange in America for Russians. By the way, this is their logo. This program was created for undergrad students from 18 to 21 who had good grades and who wanted for some reason go to the United States, study English, get some experience and come back to Russia. Every year that exchange program used to send about 100 people to the United States to different universities and colleges all over the United States. Another cool program is called Global Ugrad, is one semester completely paid by the American government for you as an undergraduate student to go and study one semester in the United States. Fulbright that basically offers to cover your whole master's degree, but you have to come back to Russia when you finish it. And the program Access, which is personally my favorite program because what it does, it allows 9th graders to go for 2 years in the United States to practice their English, to live in an American host family, to go to an American high school, and eventually it can give such opportunities in life for those kids from poor families. This is just the list of the programs I think are the best, but there is actually tens and tens of other ones dedicated to fulfilling different purposes. However, in March 2024, 2 years after Putin started the full invasion of Ukraine, Putin decided to stop letting Russian kids to go and study in the United States as part of exchange programs. This journey started a long time ago. In 2015, in the modern history of Russia since the collapse of the USSR, Russia banned the first exchange program called FLEX, Future Leadership Exchange. This program allowed outstanding students to go to the United States to finish their final year of high school. However, in 2015, 1 year after Russia annexed Crimea, Putin decided to ban this program. As the Russian government was saying, we are only banning this program because what the Americans do, they bring our children to the US and make them gay and let them stay in the US. Basically, there was a story with a 16-year-old teenager who decided to apply for political asylum in the United States because he was gay. He was staying with a host family, with a gay couple, and in the end of his exchange year, he was supposed to come back to Russia. But since he was gay and he knew that in Russia, basically, being gay is no fun, and well, Putin recently proved this by accepting all of those anti-LGBTQ+ laws that basically prohibit you to be a gay person in Russia and making it a crime. That's why that guy just decided to stay in the United States and apply for political asylum instead of going back home. But his mother, who had no idea her son is actually gay, she freaked out. She wrote a letter to Putin. Putin read it and he was like, no, they are bringing our children to the US and making them gay. Nope, not gonna happen, and banned the program in 2015. Personally, I think that was not the main reason for banning that program in 2015. The main reason was actually annexation of Crimea and the American sanctions imposed on Russia. As soon as Putin banned FLEX program, the United States decided to open a different program for already 18-20 years olds, so Putin wouldn't be able to say, oh, you bring our children and make them gay, because, well, 18 years old are no more children by the Russian law. And I'm a proud participant of Year of Exchange in America for Russians program, which is, by the way, making me a criminal today, and I'll tell you why later. Overall, the year program is amazing. It was literally one of my best periods of my life, when I've learned a lot, when I boosted my English, when I met a lot of my friends who are still my friends up to nowadays. And what was included in that exchange program? Well, basically, we were going for 1 year to the United States to study in colleges, either to live in dorms or host families. I was personally living with a host family. I have actually a video with my host mom on my channel when we were reacting to one of the Russian bands called I Speak.
They're amazing.
Amazing.
They're amazing.
Not that the American government covered education for me. They also covered the plane tickets, they covered food, allowance, rent, basically everything. What it meant for me? Well, a lot. Firstly, before that, I've never been abroad of Russia. And actually, it really shows you the difference between different countries, and it shows a lot of problems of Russia compared to the United States. I've seen that people can actually live a good life, and the government is the one responsible for the level of people's lives. I criticized the Russian government even before I went to the United States, but as soon as I went to the US and when I went back to Russia, I had this reverse culture shock, which just shown me in how much shit is Russia is. And well, about 1 month ago, Russia started the full invasion of Ukraine. I have loved Russia, and I was thinking, oh no, since now the US is gonna impose more sanctions on Russia, Putin, and Russians specifically, and I was thinking that they are going to cancel all the exchange programs. But actually, to my surprise, and I guess a lot of you are gonna be surprised too, but since the full invasion of Ukraine started, the Russian exchange to the United States has never stopped. Students continued to go and study in the United States and coming back to Russia, and nothing was happening to them. But I knew that at some point something is gonna happen. And well, at the beginning of March, Sergei Naryshkin, a lot of you know him by this guy who barely spoke at the Security Council before the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Well, I personally know him as the head of the intelligence service of Russia, and he said that all of those exchange program participants, what they doing, they hiring the fifth column. They are trying to destroy Russia from the inside by using the soft power and to try to brainwash all these young Russians like myself, so we would come back to Russia and destroy it from the inside. A couple of days later of that speech, Lynn Tracy, who is an American diplomat in Moscow, was called out to the International Relationship Ministry and was given a note that the programs and project of anti-Russian orientation aimed at recruiting agents of influence under the guise of educational and cultural exchange. And then they gave Lynn Tracy another note saying that America should stop sponsoring any of those programs that are promoting wrong values to the Russian society. Well, I guess by their meaning, wrong values is just good level of life, rights for all human beings, right to love, talking about gay people, not killing them like in Chechnya. Yeah, it's all wrong to the Russian society. Yeah, sure. That's why we need to ban those exchange programs. Cool. And at the beginning I said that wearing this shirt is making me a criminal. So basically I'm a proud member and I'm wearing one of the logo of undesirable organizations in Russia. And this is making me a criminal by the law about undesirable organizations. And yes, no jokes, there is a legal term in Russia called undesirable organization. What the hell means undesirable organization? It's just that Putin doesn't want it. On paper it doesn't say it's just Putin doesn't want it. It says that organization is undesirable if it threatens Russian safety and constitutional base somehow. To be honest, in my opinion, the only person who is threatening the Russian constitution is Vladimir Putin, because he is the person who changed the constitution already 2 times. First in 2020, when he basically allowed himself to be a president until 2036, and secondly in 2023, when they joined those occupied territories to the territory of Russia by constitution. So he is the main threat to the foundations of the Russian constitution, not just some poor students who would want to go to the United States to get some education to find a good job on the international market later. Oh, how could I forget? If they're gonna find a job on the international market using the English language, they're gonna leave Russia. Oh no, less cannon fodder. Okay, we ban all of them. By Russian law, if you are taking part in the undesirable organization, you are facing up to 4 years in jail. Who knows what does it mean, taking part in an undesirable organization? Does it mean like me as a just participant and I'm taking part in it? I guess it is, because they have a different thing saying that if you're organizing the structure of the undesirable organization, if you're working in it, it means you're facing up to 5 years in jail. But if you're just participating, this is 4 years in jail. And what does it actually mean to just be a participant? I guess just going as an exchange student, like being myself, it's already a crime. You can also get fined if you just show any symbol of an undesirable organization, which I'm doing right at the moment, and I'm making a crime by the Russian law. by the way, or if you repost or spread any kind of materials of the undesirable organization. Basically, right now me telling you about this exchange program is spreading the information about it, basically making a crime. I'm at least gonna get fined, but if I'm gonna do it too much, which I'm doing already but right now, or my photos on Insta with this logo or from that exchange program, it's already a freaking crime. By the way, the people who organized the Year of Exchange program, they know all of this. They know that we as students of that program are in danger, and that's why they actually banned all photos from their websites, social medias, from everywhere, because they are afraid those students who are still in Russia can be in danger because of those photos on the website of an undesirable organization. A couple of days later, when those exchange programs were recognized as undesirable, American embassy gave their reply. The idea that it would be undesirable to connect Russians and Americans on a human level and facilitate travel for professional and educational development is a tragic illustration of the Kremlin's desire to isolate its own people, depriving them from a chance to network, expand their horizons, and contribute to building a more prosperous and peaceful world. Free and open societies have nothing to fear from engagement with other nations and people. We believe a peaceful, safe, and prosperous Russia is in the US interest and in the interest of the world, and we will continue to keep a hand outstretched to all of those who share that vision. As a result, almost all exchange programs from Russia to the US are banned right now. And if you participate in one, it means you're a criminal and you can go to jail up to 4 years. And well, I completely understand Putin. Being a dictator, you're afraid that people are gonna leave. All the brains, all the prosperous kids who learn English by themselves, who are smart enough to pass through those stages and get in the US for free to get education, they are afraid those kids are gonna come and demand something from them. They are going to demand free society, they're going to demand the ability to criticize its government, what they've seen in the United States. I remember I was mind blown when I saw any critic of Biden, or Trump to that matter, and those people are not facing jail sentences for a post on Facebook criticizing Biden, but a lot of people are serving their sentences in Russian jails for just writing a comment about Putin and his illegal war against Ukraine. It was me, Zach the Russian, a proud member of the Year of Exchange in America for Russian program. Thank you for watching this video, for supporting the channel. There's links in the description below. Thank you for watching it, and see you in the next ones. Bye.